Here's what car dealerships will never tell you when you're shopping in 2025. What if I told you that manufacturers are quietly discontinuing 21 beloved vehicles before 2026 hits, and 8 of them have safety defects so severe they could kill you at highway speeds? That's not an exaggeration. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has active investigations on some of these models right now. Picture yourself signing the papers on what you think is a great deal, only to discover 6 months later that the vehicle has been discontinued, parts are impossible to find, and your investment just lost 40% of its value. In this video, I'm revealing the complete list of cars being eliminated or banned by 2026, ranked from lowest impact to the ones that will shock you most. And trust me, number 1 will surprise you. It's an American icon that's been on our roads for over 50 years, and it's being executed by a 10% emissions mandate in a single year. Stay until the end, because this isn't just entertainment. It's your guide to avoiding the financial and safety disasters that could destroy your next vehicle purchase. Number 21, BMW X4. Let's start at number 21 with a vehicle that won't shock too many people. The BMW X4, known for its curved roof design, is being discontinued at BMW's Spartanburg facility. This is part of BMW's broader strategy to revamp major segments of their luxury lineup in response to tightening regulatory timelines. The X4 was always a niche product. It's essentially an X3 with a sloped roofline that sacrifices rear headroom for styling. Sales were modest, and BMW made a calculated decision that the production capacity could be better used elsewhere. If you own an X4, you're not in immediate danger, but you need to start thinking about long-term parts availability and resale value. When luxury brands discontinue models, the entire ownership experience changes. Dealer support fades, specialist knowledge disappears, and finding someone to work on your vehicle 5 years from now becomes exponentially harder. Number 20, Cadillac XT6. At number 20, we have the Cadillac XT6, a 3-row luxury SUV that's being cut after only 1 generation. This vehicle never found its audience. It was too expensive to compete with mainstream 3-row SUVs, and it lacked the prestige to truly compete with European luxury brands. Cadillac looked at their portfolio and made a ruthless decision. The factory space building the XT6 is more valuable producing electric vehicles than continuing a model that barely moved the sales needle. This is what I call the corporate ban. The XT6 isn't failing emission standards, it's failing profit margins. And in 2025, that's a death sentence just as final as any regulatory mandate. Number 19, Cadillac XT4. The Cadillac XT4, and this one tells you everything you need to know about where the industry is headed. Production of the XT4 ended early because the facility building it is already being converted to assemble the revived Chevrolet Bolt EV. The replacement for the gas-powered XT4 isn't a comparable model. It's the Cadillac Optiq, a more expensive all-electric SUV. This is pure resource allocation. Cadillac looked at its factory space and said, "We need this capacity for EVs, not for aging internal combustion platforms." If you were considering an XT4 as an affordable entry into the Cadillac brand, that door just closed. The new barrier to entry is significantly higher. Number 18, Subaru Legacy. The Subaru Legacy sedan is meeting its end after the 2025 model year. The Legacy shares its core platform with the Outback wagon. The Outback sells, the Legacy doesn't. Despite offering standard all-wheel drive, the sedan couldn't match rivals in fuel economy or interior quietness. Subaru made the obvious choice. Cut the sedan, keep the crossover. Focus everything on the vehicles that people actually want to buy and that help the brand meet regulatory requirements. The Legacy depreciated steadily even before discontinuation was announced. Expect that trend to accelerate as these vehicles flood the used market when current leases expire. Number 17, Kia Soul. The Kia Soul, and this one represents something far more significant than just another discontinued model. The Soul was Kia's most affordable vehicle, starting under $22,000 in 2025. It was the entry point for budget-conscious buyers. young people buying their first new car, families on tight budgets, people who just needed reliable transportation without luxury pretensions. Kia is eliminating this vehicle to make room for electric models like the upcoming EV4 sedan, which will start at a significantly higher price point. This is the affordability crisis nobody wants to discuss. When manufacturers eliminate their cheapest vehicles to prioritize emissions compliance and electrification, the barrier to entry for new car ownership rises dramatically. The people who could afford a Soul can't afford its replacement. So where do they go? The used car market. And those used cars are, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's own analysis, much less safe in highway crashes than new vehicles. Number 16. Audi A7 and S7. At number 16, we have the Audi A7 and its performance variant, the S7. These larger luxury sedans are being phased out, but Audi has a plan. They're going to rest these nameplates temporarily and bring them back later as fully electric vehicles. This is becoming a common strategy across the luxury segment. Manufacturers want to preserve the brand equity and prestige of established names by relaunching them on dedicated electric platforms. It's smart marketing, but it creates a strange situation for current owners. Your A7 isn't just a discontinued model, it's the last of its kind before a complete reinvention. That could help resale values for pristine examples, or it could hurt them if buyers view the nameplate as outdated compared to the exciting electric version coming soon. Number 15. Audi A4 and S4. Number 15 brings us the Audi A4 and S4, core models in Audi's lineup that are being discontinued with the same strategy as their larger siblings. The current gasoline-powered versions are being phased out, and the A4 nameplate will return later as a fully electric vehicle. Audi's immediate compact offering will shift to the newly repositioned A5 and S5 liftback models. But the A4 sedan, as you know it, is finished. If you love the current generation, this is your last chance to buy one new. After this, you're waiting for the electric relaunch, which will likely cost significantly more and deliver a fundamentally different driving experience. Number 14. Porsche 718 Cayman. We hit our first major surprise. The gasoline-powered Porsche 718 Cayman is being discontinued to make way for a fully electric replacement. This is one of the most celebrated driver's cars on the planet. Mid-engine layout, perfect weight distribution, surgical steering, and it's going away. Here's where it gets financially dangerous. Many people assume that the final gas-powered models will skyrocket in value, and the absolute last editions probably will. But the data tells a brutal story. The 2023 Porsche 718 Cayman depreciated 5% in just 2 years. Not terrible, but not appreciating either. The market is already pivoting toward excitement about the electric replacement, and that excitement is suppressing values of earlier models in the current generation. If you're buying a used 718 right now expecting it to become a collector's item, you need to be very careful. Unless you're buying a limited edition or one of the absolute final units, you might be catching a falling knife. The electric 718 is going to be fast, high-tech, and heavily marketed, and every dollar Porsche spends promoting that new car makes your gas-powered model feel like yesterday's news. Number 13. Porsche 718 Boxster. The Porsche 718. Boxster, the convertible variant, facing the same fate as the Cayman. But the financial picture here is even worse. The 2022 Porsche 718 Boxster lost 40% of its value in just 3 years. 40%. That's not a collector's item. That's a depreciating asset with an uncertain future. Think about what that means. Someone bought a $50,000 Boxster in 2022. By 2025, it's worth $30,000. That's a $20,000 loss in 3 years on what's supposed to be a premium sports car. The discontinuation announcement hasn't helped. The final model year might command a premium, but everything before it is subject to normal depreciation, plus the added risk that the electric replacement makes the entire gas-powered generation obsolete in buyers' minds. Number 12. Chevrolet Malibu. We reached the Chevrolet Malibu, And this one is deeply symbolic. The Malibu has been around since 1964. It survived the oil crisis, it survived the recession, but it can't survive 2026. The discontinuation of the Malibu after the 2025 model year marks the end of Chevrolet's sedan offerings in the United States, except for the low-volume Corvette sports car. General Motors looked at the Malibu's aging platform, which hasn't seen a major update since 2016, and did the math. The car's turbocharged four-cylinder engine, paired with a continuously variable transmission, can't compete with the hybrid and all-wheel drive options from Toyota and Honda. More importantly, it can't help Chevrolet meet the 2026 emissions targets without prohibitively expensive redesigns. So GM made a business decision. They're shutting down Malibu production and retooling that entire factory to build the new Chevrolet Bolt EV instead. The Malibu isn't being discontinued because it's a bad car. Consumer reviews show owners praise its comfort and styling, but reliability is rated as one of its weakest features. The Malibu is being discontinued because it's in the way of GM's electric future, and GM has decided that factory space is too valuable to waste on a declining sedan market. Number 11, Tesla brand. Number 11 isn't a single model, it's an entire brand. Tesla scores a predicted reliability rating of just 36 out of 100, according to Consumer Reports' 2025 rankings. That places Tesla firmly in the bottom tier of dependable brands. Think about the irony here. Tesla is the poster child for the electric vehicle revolution. They're supposed to represent the future of automotive technology, yet their vehicles are failing at rates that would be unacceptable for any traditional manufacturer. Chronic electrical issues, build quality problems, software glitches that require over-the-air updates to fix basic functionality. This represents the bifurcation happening in the market right now. You have unreliable aging internal combustion platforms being discontinued, and you're getting unreliable new electric platforms to replace them. The middle ground of affordable, dependable transportation is disappearing, and consumers are being forced to choose between old technology with known defects or new technology with unknown long-term reliability. Number 10, Volkswagen brand. At number 10, Volkswagen scores a predicted reliability rating of 34 out of 100. This is a mainstream brand that millions of Americans depend on for daily transportation, and they're barely scoring above the absolute worst brands on the market. Volkswagen has struggled with reliability for years. Electrical gremlins, transmission issues, engine problems that require expensive repairs just outside of warranty. The brand built its reputation on German engineering and solid build quality. But the modern reality doesn't match the marketing. If you're considering a Volkswagen, especially a model being phased out or redesigned for 2026, factor in significantly higher maintenance costs than you would expect from Japanese competitors. Number 9, GMC brand. GMC as a brand, tied with Jeep at a predicted reliability score of 33 out of 100. GMC positions itself as a premium alternative to Chevrolet. Their trucks and SUVs cost thousands more than comparable Chevy models. You're paying for upgraded interiors, more features, and supposedly better build quality. But the reliability data shows that premium price doesn't buy you premium dependability. GMC shares platforms and powertrains with Chevrolet, and they're suffering from the same chronic quality control issues. The fact that multiple GM brands appear in the bottom rankings suggests systemic problems across the entire corporation's manufacturing process. Number 8, Jeep brand. Jeep ties with GMC at 33 out of 100, but Jeep's problems go far deeper than just reliability scores. This brand is plagued by a specific, terrifying defect that we'll discuss in detail later. For now, understand that buying a Jeep, especially certain model years of the Wrangler, represents a significant safety risk that goes beyond normal wear and tear or minor quality issues. Now let me talk to you about that subscribe button for a second. If you're still watching, it means you care about making informed decisions about your next vehicle. I'm going to keep digging into these issues every single week. The regulatory changes, the manufacturer strategies, the vehicles you should avoid and why. Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss what's coming next. Number 7, Cadillac brand. Cadillac achieves a predicted reliability score of just 27 out of 100. This is an American luxury brand with a storied history. They're supposed to compete with BMW, Mercedes, and Audi, but they're failing at a rate that makes them nearly unusable for long-term ownership. Cadillac's problems stem from overly complex electrical systems, transmission issues, and quality control failures. When you buy a luxury vehicle, you expect higher repair costs. Premium parts cost more. Specialized labor rates are higher. But you also expect the vehicle to be more reliable because you're paying for superior engineering. Cadillac violates that expectation. You're paying luxury prices for below-average dependability. And with multiple Cadillac models being discontinued for 2026, parts availability is going to become a nightmare for owners in the next 5 years. Number 6. Rivian brand. Rivian, the electric truck startup that scores an absolutely catastrophic predicted reliability rating of 18 out of 100. This is the worst brand on Consumer Reports' entire list. 18. Think about what that means. 4 out of every 5 Rivian owners can expect significant problems requiring unplanned repairs. Rivian represents the danger of early adoption in the EV space. Yes, their trucks are innovative. Yes, they're zero emissions. But if your $70,000 electric truck spends more time at the service center than in your driveway, what's the point? The complexity of modern EVs, combined with a new manufacturer still working out production issues, creates a perfect storm of reliability problems. Battery management systems failing, software glitches, build quality issues. All of this is happening on vehicles that cost as much as a luxury sedan. Number 5. Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon. At number 5, we reach the Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon, mid-size pickup trucks that Consumer Reports gave reliability scores as low as 4 out of 100 in recent years. 4. Consumer Reports explicitly tells shoppers to avoid Colorado. That's not a minor warning. That's a complete condemnation. The primary defects center on catastrophic powertrain failures. The transmission has known manufacturing defects in the valve body and torque converter. This leads to what owners call the Chevy shake: violent vibrations, hard shifting, and slipping gears. These problems typically surface before 80,000 miles. That's not normal wear. That's a fundamental design flaw. There are also widespread electrical malfunctions and absurd build quality problems. Some owners report the Colorado roof dent, where light hand pressure on the roof causes permanent deformation because the structure is too weak. Imagine pushing on your truck's roof and leaving a dent. That tells you everything about the quality standards at the factory building these vehicles. What makes this particularly damning is that these aren't isolated cases. The problems are so pervasive and so severe that Consumer Reports, a generally conservative organization, is telling people not to buy these trucks at all. If you own a Colorado or Canyon, budget for major transmission work. And if you're thinking about buying one used because the price looks attractive, understand that you're buying someone else's nightmare. Number 4. Chevrolet Camaro. Number 4 is the Chevrolet Camaro, and this is where the regulatory executioner really starts swinging. The Camaro is being discontinued again. It's been canceled and revived multiple times over its history, but this time feels permanent. This time it's not coming back with a V8. If it comes back at all, it's coming back electric. The Camaro is a direct casualty of that 10.3% greenhouse gas emissions stringency increase for model year 2026. General Motors looked at their fleet-wide emissions averages and realized that every V8 Camaro they sell makes it exponentially harder to meet compliance targets. The math is brutal. High-performance, low-volume V8 applications simply cannot exist in the 2026 regulatory environment without massive penalties. So GM made a strategic sacrifice: cut the Camaro, eliminate one of the highest carbon emitters from the lineup, smooth the path toward future compliance. For enthusiasts, this is devastating. The Camaro represents 50-plus years of American performance heritage. But for accountants running the numbers at GM headquarters, it's just another line item that doesn't pencil out anymore. Number 3. Dodge Challenger and Charger. At number 3, we have the Dodge Challenger and Charger, two icons being eliminated simultaneously. The Challenger has been on American roads since 1970, the Charger since 1966. These are muscle cars that defined generations, and they're being killed by the exact same regulatory pressure that took down the Camaro. Their V8 engines are emissions nightmares. They're the exact type of high-performance, low-fuel economy application that regulators have targeted for elimination. Dodge isn't giving up on performance. They're pivoting to what they call e-muscle, electric performance cars that promise similar acceleration without the carbon footprint. But for purists, it's not the same. The sound of a V8 at full throttle, the mechanical connection between throttle and engine, the visceral experience of internal combustion, that's gone forever. What's replacing it might be faster, it might be more technologically advanced, but it's fundamentally different. And for millions of enthusiasts, that difference feels like loss. Here's the financial reality. The final model years of these muscle cars are already commanding premiums. Collectors are circling. But if you own an earlier model year from the same generation, don't assume your car suddenly became valuable. The market wants the last ones. The earlier models are just used cars with high mileage and expensive maintenance needs. Number 2, Jeep Wrangler. At number 2, we reach the most dangerous vehicle on this entire list. The Jeep Wrangler, specifically the JK generation from 2007 to 2018, and the JL generation from 2018 to 2020. These vehicles suffer from a defect called the death wobble, and it's exactly as terrifying as it sounds. The death wobble is violent front-end shaking that occurs when the vehicle hits a bump at highway speeds, typically 60 to 70 miles per hour. Drivers describe it as horrifying. The entire front end shakes so violently that you can't see straight. You have to slow down immediately or risk losing control of the vehicle. Thousands of complaints have been filed. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration launched investigations. Multiple class action lawsuits are ongoing. Fiat Chrysler Automobiles issued technical service bulletins trying to blame aftermarket modifications or normal wear. But the problem is endemic and widespread. The NHTSA investigation found evidence of manufacturing defects in the frame itself: porous welds, excessive slag, structural weaknesses. FCA released customer satisfaction notifications to address specific components like the steering damper and power steering pump. But the core issue persists across hundreds of thousands of vehicles. Number 1, the American sedan. And now we reach number 1, the biggest story of 2026. It's not a single model, it's an entire category. The American sedan is going extinct. The Chevrolet Malibu is gone after 2025. The Subaru Legacy is gone. The Kia Soul is gone. Ford hasn't offered a sedan except the Mustang in years. Chrysler is down to nothing. The sedan, which was the foundation of American automotive transportation for 70 years, is being systematically eliminated from manufacturer lineups. This isn't happening because sedans are inferior vehicles. It's happening because of the intersection of three forces. First, consumer preference shifted toward SUVs and crossovers, which offer higher seating positions and perceived safety advantages. Second, manufacturers make higher profit margins on SUVs than sedans, so they're prioritizing production capacity for the most profitable segments. Third, and most importantly, eliminating sedans allows manufacturers to raise their fleet-wide fuel economy averages, because they can focus resources on either very efficient small vehicles or electric vehicles, without the middle ground sedans dragging down the numbers. The result is a complete restructuring of what's available to American car buyers. If you want a new sedan in 2026, your options are limited to luxury brands or Japanese manufacturers like Toyota, Honda, and Mazda. The American sedan is functionally extinct outside of those categories. While these newer vehicles are being discontinued, there are classic cars from the 2000s that were built to outlast everything on today's market. Check out my video on the 20 old cars from the 2000s that were built to last forever to see which models are still worth buying today.